Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome back to another episode of I'm Telling You. As always, your host, Philly D.
Mr. Gemini here.
Yeah, and if you want, please reach out to us because we would like some of that interaction. You can email us at I'm Telling You at directionsinmusic.org. That's IMTELLINYOU at directionsinmusic.org. And welcome to the show. I'm Telling You, this is what we do, right?
Here we are.
Yeah.
Back again.
Yeah, with our 30-year friendship, chopping it up, talking about Lord knows what.
I'm talking about Lord knows what.
Yeah, and how we get onto it and everything else. So, it is what it is. But, what's up, man? You're cracking already.
I'm cracking,
You're probably going to spill. Geez, hold on. Oh, see, telling you.
Every time.
I'm telling you.
Every time.
I don't get that, dude. I mean, you've even done, your patented, tap on the top, the whole deal.
Oh, but that doesn't work.
Well, apparently not with you, it doesn't. I don't know. Well, first time listeners, we drink beers here. Yeah, usually I've been drinking less, so I typically only have a beer when we're doing the warm up and stuff. But yeah, I haven't. I will not be joining you with a beer tonight. I apologize for that.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I'm drinking for you.
There you go. There it is, right? Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's not even you're just going to laugh for me. You're also going to drink for me.
That's what I do.
I appreciate that, you know? Thanks, man.
Anytime.
Oh, so what's going on, bro? How we been? What's happening?
Been good. Getting in the groove, trying to learn new stuff. We were talking about earlier, learning how to brew.
Yeah, you've gone on this new adventure where you're stepping away from this truly corporate kind of idea, sitting in a cubicle, like office space kind of crap. And now you're getting into brewing beer. What's up with that? How'd that come about?
Well, it just kind of fell into my lap, I guess, and I'm just going to go with it. Just seemed right at the time.
Well, because now you're showing me books and, you're giving me knowledge. So, you're getting pretty into it. So it sounds more than just, falling into your lap.
Well, I think it's a cool thing to be able to get in touch with your creative side, which is something that I rarely ever got a chance to tap into, working in a cubicle. So
what you mean as for work, because, you're very creative and I've seen you do many things as far as creative outlets, but you're saying while you're working.
Yeah, to be able to put that into your work. That your finished result is part of this concept that you were able to think of from the beginning to the end and actually execute it and make it work. And
as opposed to filling out paperwork and data entry and
it's interesting to me because brewing anything really. The fermentation and all the years of experience and knowledge that everybody already has that you can kind of build on your own. It's just it's an amazing marriage between, in my opinion, science and art, or math and art, or
I think math is science.
It's a lot of
Yeah. Well, that kind of makes it the whole right brain, left brain, because then you have to be logical, but you also have to be
right. But you don't have to be. It doesn't always have to be the same exact. You put your little flair into it.
Well, yeah, while there's form, it's not exactly structured where it's only this way possible. Right. There's room for happy little accidents.
Yeah.
Nice. So what's been the coolest thing that you've learned from this so far?
The coolest thing?
Well, for you. It doesn't mean anybody else is going to think it's cool, but what's the one thing that you've been doing so far? You're just holy crap, that's pretty cool.
Well, I was just saying to you earlier that the whole concept of a hydrometer we were just talking about was just a fascinating concept to me, and that's a hydrometer is a tool that's used to determine the specific gravity of a beer, which then in turn helps you determine. So it's a mathematical equation that takes the amount of dissolved sugars within a solution before and after fermentation to determine how much alcohol content is present.
Okay, so you're going off of I guess an equation for before and after that helps you to figure out what the density is of that liquid which should in turn represent, how much was consumed, and then what's left over should be alcohol.
Right.
But again, by using math and whatnot.
And yet again, just fascinating because, well, yeast is actually fungus. So we're right back to the fungus conversation again. But there's just this amazing microorganism that basically when that's basically what you're doing when you're creating your brew before fermentation is you're creating a solution that is very, very rich in a food source that yeast happens to really enjoy. Those particular types of yeast, anyway.
Right.
So the number you have before is basically like saying, this is all the food that I've put in here for this organism to consume. And then when they consume all that they're going to consume, so basically when the number stops moving.
When it settles out.
Then you're ready to, a cask, bottle, whatever it is you're going to do with it.
All right.
And if you think about it, it's like, well, you're taking the number, like the amount of food that you provided, and then basically the second measurement is what food is left. So in a way, the difference between those determines how much alcohol is present.
Or it should have
it's like sciencey. I just love
it. It should be able to have a predictable rate of what alcohol level it is at.
Yeah.
All right. Because you still have, like you said, you still have to do the math. There's some equations in there and stuff.
Yeah, there's an equation that you got to work out. So you're taking the difference of the two numbers, and then you have a multiplication that you do to determine. And that actually brings it up to whether it's 7.2% alcohol by volume. So to me, that's just fascinating. Like that's the science aspect of it. That this is a measurable, calculatable. And I put these things together, and this is what happened. And to be able to see that. Come to fruition.
Yeah, that's why I said it may not sound cool to other people, but I think that's pretty cool. It sounds pretty. I like math. I'm a nerd. It's cool. So yeah, the fact that you can actually like calculate that kind of stuff out. It kind of makes sense. It's almost like, hey, I consume these many calories, but I also burn these many calories. Therefore, I should have this left over, or this much in absence.
Yeah, because energy is never lost, right? So whatever there was food consumed. And there was an organism in there that consumed it. And now when they finish consuming, and this is the number that's left, that energy had to go somewhere, and it went into the alcohol. So what I guess with the explanation, I think, of the hydrometer was really interesting to me too, because you're basing everything off of the relative density of water, which is like your starting point. So any number that goes higher than that is a more dense material. So when you suspend a bunch of different types of sugar within this solution, then what you're going to have at a set temperature, that's another thing. It has to be, when you take your reading, it has to be, I think, exactly 6 degrees or really close, relatively close. So if it's off by a certain amount, you have to make adjustments.
6 degrees?
60 degrees, sorry.
Oh, 60.
60 degrees Fahrenheit. Whatever that is.
6 times 60, in the head?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, yeah, because that's going to modify, I guess, how things interact. So that'll change relatively the measurement.
It modifies the buoyancy, because when you think about it, heat is just something that's warmer than something else. It just means it's moving more. It's
more excited.
It's in a hyper excited state. So it's going to react differently with the whatever makes it float. There's like a bubble at the bottom of the thing that makes it float.
In the hydrometer.
And then they calibrate it based on,
See, now, like for me, like in automotive, we used to have our hydrometers that we would use to check, I guess still the density of the water, but how much suspension agent was in it, or acid, because you could do it for checking a battery, or you could be doing it for checking the cooling system.
Right, but there's certain ones that are designed, and that's another interesting thing I learned too, is that you can't necessarily use the same hydrometer for brewing beer as you would for like a hard liquor, because it doesn't equate. Because what happens is when you have a certain amount over, then your number is actually going in the opposite direction. That the weight of the weight of a liquor in general would be lighter if it wasn't
I mean, the density.
The relative density, if it was more alcohol than solution, then it could actually go in the opposite direction. So you need like a slightly different scale for that.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. That kind of makes sense. Yeah.
All right. So if a certain percentage of it is actually, if it's not a very thick, like viscous wise, I guess, solution, if there's not a lot of suspended sugars still in there,
right.
You know what I mean? So the scale is a lot. So if you're looking at like a vodka, I would think it would actually go on the other side, like under 1, because it would be less dense than water.
Right, because there's so much already in it.
Right.
That it, well, yeah, because I mean, I guess at that point you probably would have had to have had so much sugar or, food source in there. And then to get to that high of a degree of, alcohol by volume, yeah, there probably would be an exponential component that allows it to shift sides.
Yeah, so you would use, I think you have to use a slightly different hydrometer setup, I think, for that.
Okay.
But anyhow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, you're going on this new adventure, We'd like to share and learn from one another, so, you have this information. I'm willing to listen. I want to check this out. Well, but because that's the thing is like we always share this stuff. So whether it's we watched the video or read a book or had some sort of a presentation that we were privy to, if there's something that we learned from it, even if it's like comical, especially if it's comical, actually, we typically try to share that with each other.
Comical, spiritual. I mean, we've been sharing book ideas, like favorite books, back and forth for years. I mean,
yeah, you read a lot more than I do, so I'm like way behind on that list.
No, but you got some of the same books that I've been through.
Yeah, there's
Celestine Prophecy is one that comes to mind. I know that was one I really enjoyed reading. So
yeah, I remember. Yeah, you gave me that one. I read that, and then I think my reciprocal a couple of years later was I introduced the 4 Agreements, which I mean, if you think about it, they're very much on that same level. It's almost like rules to live your life by, and not to be this person that just goes along with everything else, but to actually have balance within yourself and everything else.
Yeah, and I don't know why, but I dislike the terms self-help or, I mean, maybe esoteric, but the self-help or what's another term that's commonly used, but
I would
say more like spiritual in nature, but
yeah, the thing I got was like 40-Year-Old Virgin, where it's like the Prophecy. DIY section. Do you like to do it yourself? I mean, sometimes. But that's not what we're talking about.
No, that's not what we're talking about at all.
I mean, that is self-help, That's, no, I mean, you're helping yourself, I guess. I don't know.
DIY. Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, hey, man. Yeah, no, oh, God, what is another way to say that? Yeah,
Oh, like self-help or, I can't think of the other term, but
I don't know.
I like new age. That's another thing that drives me nuts. I'm like,
I mean, isn't everything new age?
I don't know what is that?
I always like what new and improved. It's like, dude, if it's new, how is it already improved?
What? Yeah. What?
Yeah, they're like, oh, we just came out with this great thing.
Oh, it's new because it's been improved.
Yeah, well, then say that. Newly improved, not new and improved. Because it's like, dude, if it's new and improved, that's no longer new. It's now new 2.0.
It's not the same, and we made some changes, and we hope you think it's better.
Yeah, before you even got to know what it was before the first time.
It just doesn't sound as good as new and improved.
Yeah. I don't know, marketing terms.
Yeah.
There's like psychology behind that and stuff. They like do research as to what words work best.
Well, and like pricing. It's never $3. It's always $2.99
or $2.95 or
Yeah.
Because your brain just sees the 2 and I don't get that. See, me, I always round up. So if I see like $2.99, I'm like, there's tax in there. That's like $5.
You do, but there's still a portion of your brain that goes, well, that covers $0.01 worth of tax. So
no, I don't think I'm that logical. No, my brain's like, it's shiny. Go get it. Okay. I like it. That's pretty. No.
You just like at this point, you expect it to. If it doesn't end in 99 or 95 or 98, like you're looking at it like, that's weird. It's actually $3.
So yeah, my last restaurant, I actually did that where it was like 25 cents or 50 cents or 75 cents or $1. Like, I mean, it was straight up. I didn't do that like 99-cent crap to you or nothing.
I just didn't feel like keeping all those extra coins in the.
Well, it never made any sense to me. It's like, dude, if it's $4.99, it's $5. It's freaking $5. Just it's $5. Deal with it. You know, I'm not trying to like trick you or anything. You know.
Sure.
At least that was my my perception on why I did the pricing that way. I don't know. It worked. People liked it.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Seems more honest. Maybe that's the impression you might get. Look, this guy's honest. He actually said $5 instead of $4.99.
Yeah,
check this guy out.
That goes back to being impeccable. Yeah, I was being honest with myself about it, so I was impeccable in my expression. I like it. Works for me.
Yeah, I'm not going to insult your intelligence by removing 1 penny.
You can't insult my intelligence because I don't have any.
Right. I wasn't going to say anything.
I said it for I said it myself. Yeah, what did I
If you say it first, then nobody else can say it against you, right?
Well, no. You said something about me where it was like what was it? Something about like taking myself down or like putting myself down or whatever. I was like, well, it's not going to do it itself.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was something like that. I mean,
You're like, this takes work.
It does take work. Well, for me, it does.
It's effort.
You think I just wake up and sound this amazingly horrible? No, I gotta put effort into
You
this.
think I just roll out of bed this beautiful?
I mean, you do maybe. I don't know. You're way prettier than I am.
I thought you were just telling me an hour ago you feel pretty.
No, I feel.
Oh, you feel like a woman. Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Because I feel like a natural woman.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I was also singing.
Should we talk about this?
I was in the moment. When the counselor's not here right now, we'll have to save this for after hours. Because
Maybe some write-ins on that one.
Pretty sure we're going to get charged for overtime if we're off hours with our marriage counselor.
Oh yeah, probably.
And I mean, they're already working hard enough because let's be honest, it's us.
I know what the counselor's going to say though.
Oh, just see, now you're assuming.
We need to work on our communication.
Oh, you got me on that one. Oh, you got me on that one. That was actually pretty good. I'll take that joke and give you a hearty attaboy.
You know what I mean? Hey?
Yeah, no, that was pretty good. I mean,
whatever you want, Leo gets. Get it?
Get it? Yeah. Leo gets. He does. Our communication. That's freaking hilarious.
Need to work on your communication. Have you been paying attention at all?
I mean, I feel like I'm too broke to pay attention.
I tell bad dad jokes.
That wasn't my dad joke. I was just reiterating it for somebody else. I'm asking for a friend.
Oh, yeah. It was a friend.
You.
No.
Yeah, I was asking for you because, I wanted to laugh for you. So I had to pre-qualify the information.
I wasn't asking. I was asking for you.
Well, somebody's got to do it, right?
I'm not going to ask for you. I can't ask anymore.
I think I can ask a little bit more.
Can you?
Well, I mean, I can try. Doesn't mean it's going to work. But we're all about equality and fairness and all that stuff. So I'll at least give it the old college try. Dude, were you trying to come up with a dad joke? It just didn't work.
I got nothing on that.
Well,
I didn't go to college, so.
Well, I mean,
I could just give it like the old
classes.
high school try, I guess.
Well, see, but you didn't go to college for the classes. Let's be honest.
Give it the old Votech try.
I never did that. Well, I did after high school. I did vocational school. Which, I mean, dude, you know what?
That worked out all right.
Well, what's his name? Mike Rowe. That's the guy that did the dirty jobs or whatever. Wasn't that his name?
Oh, was that? Yeah, that sounds somewhat familiar.
Yeah, I think he was. I was watching this thing where he was talking about how there's not enough of us getting into the skills. So
like the trades and stuff.
Yeah, all the different trades, and having those, and even not using the skill for work, but just having that knowledge. So there seems to be this massive. What's the right way to put it?
Learn how to weld. Just
Well, yeah, like there
just
seems
to
to
know
be
how to weld or
a knowledge gap. I think that's what I've heard it as, a knowledge gap in where we could be or should be and what we really are doing. And I mean, this is for adults, kids, everybody. Yeah, we rely too much on stuff to do it for us.
Well, that's a really good point. And that's only going to get,
Likely
more and more interesting as well. And, to some extent, I think all these new innovations are going to make the older stuff, for at least some period of time, I think is going to make the more retro stuff more interesting to a certain amount of people.
It's like playing on the old NES.
So as things,
like cracking out the Duck Hunt or like
as things get more and more hyper advanced, there is going to always be kind of a look back to the good old days where things were simpler and
nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like Gunslinger? You mean you have to use your hands?
It's like a baby's toy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with that in mind, we're still owed a hoverboard and flying cars.
Well, and like my whole thing is like, why has the internal combustion engine been demonized? I mean, that's a big issue for me. Like, I don't see it as being an issue.
Well, and
I think my argument is very sound in that respect.
Well, and we started touching on this a while ago, where I was watching, and just the main aspect that I brought up was the consumption of water. And when you look at the different production of this piece to that piece, and clothing, cars, everything, when you do any kind of production, there's always going to be a consumption of something, and that's the basic resources of water, electricity, how you create the electricity, so the stuff that went into that. So when you start to truly equate all of those other things in there, that's where I think my biggest issue is when people just start spouting off with numbers, and it's like you forgot about this piece, and it's like you're only getting a section of the statistics, which, that to me, that's a misrepresentation of the actual truth.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that. But I mean, and to some extent, like everybody, that's because that's your focus. That's why it's not like you're blocking everything else out. But to some extent, when you're hyper focused on something, you don't see
to me, that's
other, factual stuff out there necessarily. But
yeah, it's like skewing information to fit facts or something like that. I always forget that. I butcher that one up.
But I mean, to some extent, like we as individuals, and everybody, I mean, you have a tendency to do that. You have a tendency to just see the world the way you want, and then justify why it is that's exactly that what you're receiving is exactly accurate.
Your perception and belief system.
Right. But that, like what we were saying before about the difference between truth versus fact.
Right. And I said fact was a provable, highly provable thing. So it doesn't mean it's true. It just means that it's reproducible on a consistent rate.
But truth is somewhat subjective.
Yeah, it's more of like your opinion. It's how you feel. Yeah, it's like the why versus the what, I guess.
Because you can take that out to the nth degree, and after a while, it's like, well, what is true?
As well as what does the word true mean? What is it like? What if dog was really spelled CAT? Dude, I mean, that's the thing. We get so caught up in commonplace knowledge that we just take it as actual fact, and then we spout it as a truth when really it's just an idea. Because I mean, none of us really truly know.
I mean, but the thing about truth is like, or just like, I mean, not a simple example, but just like, for example, a doctor would be able to look at a patient, from a certain angle. So whether they're, specifically a cancer doctor, or whether they're like a heart and lung specialist or whatever, they're going to see the problems that arise within that field.
Okay.
And to them, the truth is, this happens and then this happens, like if then,
Ipso facto.
But you're only looking at one little sliver of the whole human organism, of the biology of this creature that's actually, when you think about it, one human being is how many thousands of, microorganisms and everything that all have to work and function together.
It's almost like its own little universe trapped inside of a body.
And to look at something like just one aspect of the human body, but rule out like, all the other systems and how they function together. Like I always say, there's a really strong connection that I don't think equates to the way that Western medicine views the human body and how it works, that we tend to want to separate the body from the spirit, the body from the mind, as if they're not, that one affects the other.
Yeah, like chicken and the egg kind of a thing, where in actuality it's more of yin and yang. You don't have one without the other.
Wasn't that actually a Celestine prophecy thing, though? I think the whole concept wasn't that the main character like tripped at one point and like twisted his ankle, and when he came back around to actually understanding what happened, like he came to this like epiphany because of everything that was going on. And this, I think maybe somebody else was telling him. But anyway, the point was that happened because he wanted it to happen, because that injury kept him from seeking the truth, which he was afraid to actually find.
Right.
If you I don't know if you remember that part, but yeah.
To me, that's a part of the, like I always say with your perception, if you have the mentality that bad stuff happens to you, like you said, the guy that shows up at the party always looking for trouble, like John Bender, that's his perception. So even if he truly wants to be or believe something else, because that's his mentality, he makes those choices. So his brain, basically...
Nobody likes me anyway, so I might as well just stir shit up,
Well, yeah, so in your example of him, the other character twisting his ankle, wanting to not be able to see that truth, his brain just says, oh, there's a rock there, but doesn't tell him, and instead just directs the body to step on and says, yeah, go ahead, break that thing.
Well, and of course, this was a spiritual work of fiction that was trying to relay some much deeper meaning behind stuff. But I mean... for the purpose of the storyline, the moment he makes that realization, his ankle is healed. So it's like this whole magical thing. Now, whether you look at that and go, that's complete hogwash, or you go, it's curious because
Well, yeah, because that's the thing is like, so our brain with all of its nerves, ingesting that information, our brain decides what to do with that information. So very much in that kind of a mindset, then like if it's supposed to hurt, it's going to hurt, and if it's not, it's not.
If you set yourself up for failure before you even get started, then like isn't that a self-fulfilling prophecy? And when it happens, then you can just say, "Well, see, I knew it was." You know what I mean? It's like a cop-out.
Yeah, that's why one of my favorite quotes is Henry Ford: "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are correct."
Yeah, it's just a different way of saying it. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's very much, to me, it pulls into law of attraction, your mentality, perception. I mean, everything.
Are you American?
Or American? Well, yeah, because I mean, even Dr. E.T. I love Dr. E.T. He's always kind of talking about that stuff where, don't say you're broke, because broke is permanent. Say you're in a financial transition. But it totally changes the perception. How does that not sound
like a PC term? But no, yeah.
Well, but to me, it's like that thing of I always say that, say everything as positive as you can. Take the negatives and turn them, it's like the Mahatma Gandhi thing where it's, anti-war or pro-peace. Same exact statements. One's built with all positives, one's built with all negatives.
So maybe right now I could say my currency right now is knowledge.
Dude, you know what's funny?
My currency is knowledge.
Dude, one of Dr. E.T.'s things is knowledge is the new money. Get you some.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Yeah, because with the right knowledge, you can do all sorts of stuff.
But you never have to stop. Like, there's no...
Well, who is the...
There's no stopping point for it. Knowledge should be, you should be a student for life.
Yeah, you never stop learning. Or at least you should never stop learning. There's always a potential to gain additional knowledge. As well as, another thing that Dr. E.T. says is, the only thing permanent is change. The only thing that you're guaranteed in life is something is going to be different, whether it's a second later, a minute later, a year later. Change is never going to go away. So change is the only thing that's permanent. And it's, to me, these kind of ideas, phrases, mantras really presents a mentality and a perception that allows you to be more open and receptive to having these alternate perceptions. It's kind of like a twofold. It is the chicken and the egg, and you have to do one before you get the other. But then once you do, it feeds the other, and it just keeps going.
Well, like I always like to say, I mean, if your end result is to gain knowledge and not a piece of paper, then that's what you're going to get. You're going to get the knowledge. And if all you go for is a piece of paper, then there's an end for you. It's like you're drawing a finish line. You're drawing a line in the sand and going, when I get here, I no longer have to learn anything new. That's kind of limiting.
I think it's more than kind of, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. I like that.
So what do you go for, the knowledge? Or do you go for the piece of paper?
Well, so when I initially went, because I didn't go to college until I was.
Or do you go for the piece of paper so you can go for the money?
in the early stages of me going to college, and I think I was like 30 or 31 when I finally went to college. Yeah, I was going after that piece of paper that was going to give me the money
to give you more pieces of paper.
Yeah, right. Well, and to me, it was the out, because I wanted to be able to do community projects, and I wanted to be able to do things where I could help support and be a part of. And my perception at that time was it was going to take money. Well, it's like, well, duh. I mean, stuff's going to cost. Doesn't mean I have to spend it. Doesn't mean I have to spend what I think I'm going to have to spend. I mean, look what we do here.
Well, your currency also at that point becomes people and relationships too. So that it's not, I mean, when you really consider it, if all the focus is gaining money, gaining knowledge just to get a piece of paper, to get more pieces of paper, versus, looking at knowledge as currency itself, looking at relationships that you build between others as currency itself. If everything goes to S, you've still got something to fall back on, because you've got the knowledge to start over. You've got the support of the people around you.
Well, see, now that you're saying this, it brings up to my mind is the Albert Einstein, where imagination is more important than knowledge.
I like that. Yeah, that's a good tie-in. Good, bringing it back around.
Well, because in your scenario, you very much depict how knowledge is usable, and very supportive, and brings about the ease for production of things. Because like you said, when the shit hits the fan, it's like, okay, well, you still have this knowledge, but if it truly hits the fan, which I think was your further extension on that one before, was if all the knowledge is gone, you still have the imagination to create new knowledge.
Right. I mean, even if what you think, okay, well, what I know isn't that valuable because I didn't learn it on my own, but because if I learn how to weld, I may never have to do that, but what happens if I get into a situation where I might need to weld?
Yeah, now all of a sudden you get to be MacGyver instead of the guy in the corner going, I don't know.
Oh, we got a welding box. It's like, well, I can use that thing. Bring it over here.
All right. Now you're like B.A. Baracus. You're going to build this really awesome rig.
Well, who knows? It's the zombie apocalypse, and the only van I found around with gas in it has a broken axle. Whatever, I need to do something, or, well, I guess you can't weld a broken axle, but yeah.
Well, you could. It's not going to carry as much of a load as it would before.
Not advisable, but if it's the last axle for that type of van in the world, then...
Ackwell. Mr. Foley is here to see.
That's the again.
I couldn't help it.
I like it. I like it a lot.
But yeah, so originally when I went to college, it was about the piece of paper to give me a piece of papers. And as I was probably like 2.5 years in, about halfway through my first set of scholastic career, it definitely became a thing where having that knowledge, and I'll say knowledge / experiences.
What's a form of knowledge?
And that's why I'm like, I want to lump those two together. And it definitely became more about the experience and what I could do with that. So whether that was information learned through a book or a lesson or, interaction, or a lesson learned just from being a part of the experience. There was knowledge in there. There was something that was gainable that definitely brought about a greater outcome for me, potential as well as actual outcome. So yeah, I went from, paper for papers to this is the experience, this is the knowledge, this is something that I can use in a multitude of components around my life to just really make my life better, but also those around me having that same potential.
I really love the idea of not looking at anything really as a failure.
Yeah, there are no mistakes, only happy little accidents.
But an opportunity for, even if it's just education of some sort. Was it Thomas Edison was asked, why is it that he failed 1,000 times at making a light bulb? He said, I didn't fail 1,000 times at making a light bulb. I found 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed that. Well, yeah, because to me, the perception of that is, every time I figure out what it's not, that's one less thing.
And one step closer to what it is.
Yeah, because you're slowly taking off, from the list of what it possibly could be. It's like, all right, well, it's not this, it's not this, it's not this. Yeah, you're not failing. You're just removing things that don't work. You're like, yeah, that's obviously not gonna. Next.
Wasn't that's deductive reasoning? It's just in the physical form. Like you're removing things from something until you get to that's my finished product right there.
Yeah, the only.
But how many things do you have to? Okay, this doesn't work. This doesn't work. This doesn't work.
Yeah, it becomes the only logical outcome
until you rule everything out, and then you have your finished product.
Yeah, unless you're like me, and then you just kind of like completely talk yourself out of your theories, and then you're like, all right, cool, never. I'm just gonna put that one over there. I don't want that. Then we were talking about like consciousness and like dogs and stuff. I made a statement. I like started getting into it. I was like, nope, just prove myself wrong. We're done. We're just going to go right past that. In fact, never show this part again.
But that's what's funny about the whole communication thing. Because you might never have tripped over that had you not started to try and communicate your point across,
Yeah. Had I not made that choice, I wouldn't have had that outcome. So, was it a mistake or...
Yeah, well, you better.
Yeah, it was definitely a learning experience. It was definitely something that, because I humbled myself.
You were like, oh, maybe that doesn't work.
Well, yeah, because as soon as I realized what I had made my expression was, that where I was going with it was not like neither one supported or held up. I was like, no, we're done. Yeah, no, okay, I now know what it's not.
Right.
Yeah, didn't mean, that has nothing to do with failure. That has everything to do with, that's one less option to get me towards what I believe. Yeah, I like that.
And hearing you come across that on the mic, like, oh, I guess I just disproved myself.
Oh, yeah, no,
you can't get any more organic and real than that.
Yeah, I was like 2 minutes into it, and I'm just like, yeah, and then I was like, no. Totally.
I can't even play anymore. That's just totally off base.
No, that's. I apparently took a left at Albuquerque, and nobody was there. It's cool. That's. I think that's another great thing about what we do here. It's not even about making ourselves better, putting it out there for others, and starting the conversation. You can't just talk the talk. You got to walk the walk. So the fact that we're willing to be humble, which we've definitely learned to be even more humble because of this, because. Once it's out there, what is it? Monkey's out of the cage. You can't put the cat back in the bag.
Right. The cat's already out of the bag. You can't put the cat back in the bag.
And that's the thing, though, is, you have to make those choices. You have to try. You have to put it out there to know what it's not.
Right.
Yeah. This is a truth fact.
Well, I'm totally, because that's my job is to butcher quotes, but... one learns nothing from success.
Dude, yeah, if all you do is win, then the only thing you know is I win. How are you going to handle it if you don't win?
You don't know the 27 million ways that you can lose because you haven't tried them yet.
Yeah.
Just like what happens when the tables get turned and whatever you're doing doesn't win anymore.
Yeah,
you haven't tried all those other failures yet.
Yeah, I definitely think that's probably the best way. Like you were saying, Edison. I didn't make. I made 1,000 ways that didn't work. without having that kind of knowledge.
That was still valuable.
Absolutely.
Was his point. That's not throwaway information. That's valuable. And it took me a long time to get there. But look, I mean, you get to enjoy light now. And,
As well as, hey, this one way didn't create a light bulb, but perhaps it did show that there was a connection between this idea or that idea or this, resource and that thing. And, so it gives you other options outside of what you're trying to do.
He was wrong about current, though.
You're just going to, that's a nice
I'm just going to leave it there. He was wrong about current, though.
That was almost like a non sequitur. Wait, go ahead, please. Get in more in depth. What do you mean?
Well, direct current? About what? I mean, I don't know if I can explain that whole thing, but direct current, he was trying to say was safer. And in all actuality, direct current is actually much less safe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Than alternating current. The standard now is alternating current, but which was originally a Tesla thing, wasn't that?
This is why we need a fact checker.
I think it was.
We need someone to click clack on the computer.
I think it was
and put
Tesla
it up on
that
the
was
screen for us.
I think it was Tesla that was pushing for alternating current, and Thomas Edison was more leaning towards direct current.
Correct.
But it didn't have the right application because direct current doesn't work in long distance application.
Isn't that where the electric chair came from?
Oh, God, probably.
I think you were telling me about that.
The human race can't invent anything without finding a way to weaponize it.
Well, no, I think the story that you expressed to me was a part of the propaganda to put down Tesla's idea was to show how dangerous it was.
Yeah, and they actually, I believe, intentionally screwed something up so that one of the first times that they were going to exploit how great it was, somebody messed with the wiring and actually was responsible for electrocuting an elephant or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Using alternating, do you remember that story? Using alternating current to try and, try and put it out there, like, because they knew it would get in the papers the very next day.
Yeah, no,
and they were trying to discredit.
I'm trying to recall from you because again, you were the one that was telling me the story. I mean, this was a while ago, but
this was a while ago. Yeah,
yeah. It's not even on. I think this was pre all of our shows and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So this was just like an actual conversation that went back and forth between us.
I like to watch certain detective shows that are pretty accurate when it comes to science. So,
well, but what do you mean by accurate? Like truth or fact?
Relatively historically accurate, obviously, with dramatization, but
With dramatization. I like drama.
But anyway, yeah. I have a fascination with Tesla.
Well, I think we both do because there's a great sense of logic based within what he does, but there's also this like fanciful nature of like really outside of the box kind of stuff.
There's a very fantastic part of the way Tesla envisioned science and how it works.
He saw it more as like magic almost.
Well, what is magic?
Well, what's the expression? Yeah, no, it's in my head. You're putting it in my head. Where it's like when things appear to be. Yeah, I know we're gonna butcher the crap out of it. But yeah, basically,
magic is science not understood, or something like that.
Because basically, it's like if you showed up in like the 1800s and with a Bic lighter, and you're just like, and you have instant fire,
you'd be a witch.
Yeah, it's like what the heck?
He's a witch.
Yeah, it looks like magic.
Burn him.
Yeah, something about the means.
Use the lighter. No, use the lighter.
Yeah, this is why we need.
You can't use the lighter. Yeah, wouldn't that be? They're sitting there. I just, this played out this stupid vision in my head where now they want to burn you at the stake, but they won't. But they won't use the lighter because it's a tool of the devil. So they're gonna sit there and with the flint or whatever.
You do. I went one step further where it's like the person's tied to the cross and they're just sitting like chick.
Like, dude, just use the lighter.
No, he just like pulls it out of his pocket. He's like, here, I'll help you start this, and just like catches himself on fire.
It's like, can we just get this over with?
Just gonna start burning the ropes.
I don't want to live in a world that doesn't understand this right now.
Yeah.
Immediately, yeah. He just pulls it out of his pocket. His arms are still tied to his side. Let me just slide it for you.
That is definitely the vision I just had. It's how our brains
I don't know.
work.
I just thought about how funny is that though. Like if that ever actually happened, it would be like, you know,
I smell a sketch in the making. We got to write
burn
this
him!
thing.
Don't use the lighter.
Yeah, no.
It's a tool of the devil.
Well, you know, if you used it, then wouldn't you? And then, like, next thing you know, that person's like tied to the stake next to him, and it's just like one after another after another. Eventually, it's just like the entire town is just all staked, and nobody can set themselves on fire.
Where everybody's gone except for one man, and all he's got is this lighter, which is now out of fuel.
Yeah, that's even funnier. Well, because now if it
He can't
doesn't,
even cook himself dinner.
well, if it doesn't work now you can't be a witch because you know it doesn't do anything. That's you know, I don't know. This is how our brains work. We're really sorry for that.
No, I thought that was pretty funny. That should be a skit, though.
I'm telling.
Burn him! Here, you just use my lighter. No.
Yeah, I smell a sketch happening, dude. If we see this in the next couple of months, I want some copyrights. You know, give me some royalties on that. A little kickback on the backside.
You know, or is it the guy that's trying to light the fire that's like, dude, why don't you just let me use the lighter? It's like, dude, burn him!
I think you're getting a little too excited with this whole Burnham thing.
He's under a spell. Burn him.
Is there something you need to work out here, dog?
No,
Like,
no. It's just
you got some fire stuff going on in your head.
like I said, just played out that whole scene in my head.
Yeah. Well, dude,
I make no apologies. I make no apologies for that.
I do. I mean, I don't mean it, but I do.
Are you apologizing for me?
I am.
Oh, okay. I appreciate that.
Dude, let's see. That works in so many ways now. I laugh for you. I apologize for you.
He's not apologizing right now, but I know deep down inside.
I don't. What had happened
So I'm
was
going to apologize for him.
what he meant to do. What the thing was? Yeah, no.
You don't know what the thing was.
Because I'm not that
Roads.
smart.
No, again?
Well, I mean, dude, it's still true. It hasn't changed yet.
What is smart?
I don't have an answer for that.
I can't answer that because I'm not smart.
I can neither confirm nor deny that at this point in time.
Now we're just going to go into lawyer speak, or?
No, I cannot share with you if I were to know if the knowledge of that I had were to could not
said
share.
knowledge and yeah.
I forget the Fight Club scene. That guy's just like, you're just like, oh, just stop talking.
It hurts.
Just, oh God.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Please stop.
That's another good movie.
Burn him. Sorry.
See, this is what I'm saying.
I'm stuck on that. It's just,
I'm bringing
it's
this up
funny.
the next
just
time.
use the lighter.
When we're with the counselor, I'm bringing this up. He has an issue with trying to burn people. Just going to put it right out there. Yeah. I'm going to tell the counselor. It's only fair. You said we need to communicate. Yeah. Pulled that one out.
So our next show will be held at the local county prison.
Why? Because you're burning people?
Or maybe at the psych ward because you've got them convinced that, I don't know.
I mean, it could also be like a Johnny Cash thing where we go to like Folsom Prison and do the show live.
You know what I have to prove myself now by actually writing a skit on said topic?
You would probably have to Google that, and that's going to take a while.
What? No, but the...
Because you don't know how to Google.
Oh, I get it.
I
get it.
Like, hey,
so seriously, if anybody needs, something to do on Wednesdays. Yeah,
come be our fact checker and help us Google stuff.
Because I don't know how to Google.
Yeah, we have the equipment. You just have to come operate it.
I know there's a bunch of buttons on there, and you're supposed to hit them in a certain order. And I don't really. There's like something you do with the mouse. But like, if we could get some help in that department, that'd be great.
Now you're just.
That'd be great.
You just go ahead and come in on Saturday. You just Lumberg me. I don't want to jump to any conclusions.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and have you take care of that, please. Yeah.
Do you know that you? Oh God.
Yeah.
We're gonna do. If you're not gonna quote it right, we're just gonna go away from Office Space. Let's go to something you can quote.
Could you move a little bit to the? Yeah.
That's. Oh God. That's just. We're not gonna discuss it. We're gonna leave that over there in the corner by itself.
Lumberger. Oh.
Yeah.
If everything goes well, I'm going to show her my O face.
Dude, yeah, we haven't actually quoted Office Space in a while. We also haven't quoted Beastie Boys in a while.
Do we need an excuse?
Well, no, but we do need to come back around again. I mean, that's the whole thing about I'm telling you is like it's the again that makes it funny. That's that's why I'm always telling you.
And when you're picking on me and belittling
I'm not picking on you. I'm merely pointing out all of your faults. You asked for it. I'm just,
In your search for perfection, I'm just trying to assist you. That's all.
Right? Yeah, I'm
pointing out all your flaws.
I'm here for you. This is about you.
I really don't believe that.
Well, you don't want to. I think is what it is. If you own it, then you have to. You actually have to own it. And I'll own it for you. There you go.
Right back around.
Oh, see, I'm telling you, it works for so many things. It works for so many things.
I don't think how many boomerangs did they mess up?
Yo,
how many? No, seriously, think about this. How many boomerangs did they mess up? Where whatever you got to in your technology up to that point was all lost because the thing circled around behind your head and it was like the wrong angle and just knocked you out and that was it. So how many times do we have to start all over again? Maybe boomerang technology is much older than we thought it was because every time we got close, the guy just killed himself and we had to start at square one again.
Dude, I just pictured an archaeological dig where there's a skeleton next to a boomerang. They're like, I wonder what happened. Like, somebody obviously knocked him out with a boomerang. It's like, did they?
Did they
Did he
really
knock himself out? That's a good question.
I wonder if you do you have an understudy? Do you have somebody okay, I'm gonna test this one out today, and I don't know, just get low. Tell my kids I love them.
You're welcome.
This is for everyone else. This is for future right now. It's for humanity.
Like the Apollo missions or something. Taking one for the team. We're going to the moon. I promise.
But I wonder if maybe that technology in the Aboriginal community is much older than we thought it was.
What?
We were onto something. We were so close, but it was off by a couple meters. And
I don't think you're asking that question. You're asking, is it possible that it is that old, but nobody knew because they were knocking themselves out? You got to ask the whole question. You can't half-ass that one.
Thanks for asking it for me.
I asked for you. See, it does.
It just keeps working, no matter how. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what we do here.
Very silly thoughts. I mean. How many messed up boomerangs were there before we actually
Oh my goodness. I mean, I guess there's only one way to find out.
Is it possible?
We're going to start a whole study on this. Is it possible
there was a dozen that were really close before anything actually came out of it? Where it was just that was the end of it for him.
That's what I'm saying. He's just laying there on the ground, boomerang next to him.
See, if you got an understudy, he's over in the tall grass, about 30 yards, behind you.
Painting stuff on rocks. Changing the designs.
Yeah, well, sketching out a picture of you getting walloped by your own boomerang.
Well, I mean, only because it's funny. See, right here, this is where he gets smacked in the head. Wait, how do you rewind that? You have to show him the previous rock and then just almost hit him,
This is him looking for a good place to throw it. And how come there's nothing really after this? Oh no, that's him laying down right there after it comes back around a little too far behind him, and he.
I'm not great at 3-dimensional, so it's just a stick figure flat on the ground. It just looks like a horizontal line.
That's what it looked like. I wasn't getting any closer. I didn't know if that thing was going to jump up and get me again.
All right. Button hooked him his own self.
Right? Because technology, right? I mean,
is that really technology?
It looks like, sure it is.
I mean, it is now.
Sure it is. I mean, is the longbow technology? Was a spear technology? I mean, a stick. The first time man used a stick to get something that we couldn't reach with our fingers.
I feel like this is a rhetorical question.
It's technology.
Do you really want me to answer this, or?
No, please answer it.
I don't want to. Yeah, we got some stuff we got to talk to the
This is what happens. Don't blame this on me.
Well, I do, you know.
And I'm looking at the people now.
There's nobody there. It's all in your head. All in your head.
All of it.
All of it.
That's the weird thing. I mean, you've got a movie theater in yours, but I've got the entire universe.
Yeah, but you know what I don't have?
What?
Popcorn.
You know what, popcorn?
That's theater
or surround
only.
sound. Or no, you have surround sound, but I think the image gets a little fuzzy now and then.
Actually, I have like the Bose 10-in-1 with like the subs under the chair and everything. It's pretty hot.
Well, like the 4D. You got like smell-o-vision up there?
No, it's like 17D. Do you see there? That's like my go-to number.
I don't know if it's what's 7 to 8. How many?
17.
17. You have 5 senses. How do you have 17D?
Well, it's because I use a couple of them a few times. Oh my gosh, yeah. No, it's we're getting close. We know. That's you can see they probably already know
It's like
because
some
of
Stephen Hawking level sensory perception here. I don't really.
do any of his senses work?
No, dude. I mean, it's, as far as the levels of reality and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's like very limited in his mobility, isn't he?
Yeah, but not in his mind.
Well, we're not talking about that. That was not the question. Oh, jeez.
Do you think you're so much better than him because you can clap?
Dude, that was harsh. You said.
He's Steven. I got to stick up for Stevens everywhere.
No,
They're just smart people.
I see what you did there. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
So
yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, so that's why I said
it's
we're
definitely about that time.
They know because they're just like, dude, the conversation's taken quite a twist.
It's been a good conversation.
And then they look at the time, they're just like, yep, I knew it. Couple of minutes. That's where they're at. We're very predictable. You know what I mean? Yeah, we're the wind up monkeys. We know.
Oh, you mean where we start to fizzle out and make absolutely no sense, and then I'm going to touch everything.
We
Stop
don't,
staring at me.
Dude, there's no fizzle. We don't fizzle. We might pop. Had too much pop.
Snap and crackle.
I mean,
you don't get along with them anymore.
They came to the party the one time. There was a mashed potato incident. I don't want to talk about it.
You're just never gonna let that down.
Right? Dude, it's a Beastie Boys quote. I had to bring in the mashed potatoes.
It was gonna be that kind of party.
But yeah, as always, yeah, this is I'm Telling You, and we would love for you all to reach out to us.
And we love you all.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
We love each other, one another, and everybody else. And to prove it, we're allowing you to reach out to us for us to interact even further. So, I'm telling you at directionsmusic.org.
IMTELLINYOU at directionsmusic.org.
Yeah, send us an email. Talk to us about being a fact checker or, quotes or, whether or not we should be doing video. That was another thing we're talking about, but just, hook us up, hit us up, give us a bunch of stuff. This is I'm telling you. This is how we do it.
Write us if you want a party, pal.
Yeah, right there you go. But yeah, this is Philly D,
Mr. Gemini.
Yeah, we're near. As always, be good to yourself and be good to everyone else, fam. Love you.
Much love.
Peace.
Peace.